age rye 13 years and make it worse. WhistlePig Boss Hog for $500 figured it out. 8 American whiskeys ruining your wallet in 2026. 3 craft bottles under 90 smoking them. Number 5's called Nigh Undrinkable by bourbon veterans. That's Victorian English for something I can't say on YouTube. Enjoyed the video? Smash that like button and sub so you never miss a drop. 8. Pappy Van Winkle 23. 15 years. I hunted this for 15 years. Entered lotteries, befriended store owners, drove 6 hours for a chance. Won a lottery. $300 MSRP. Felt like I won the jackpot. Took it home. Opened it with my bourbon club. 8 experienced drinkers. Expert with 1,000 reviews already told me neither PVW 23 nor Lot B have ever been noteworthy. I didn't believe him. First sip, confused silence. Second sip, disappointed glances. Third sip, someone asked if it was corked. Now commands around $1,500 and has significantly declined in quality. People paying $3,000, $5,000 secondary. For what? Pre-2009 PVW 15 was indeed impressive, but those are long gone. You're chasing a ghost. Current releases aren't the legend. Pairs well with Coke? That's the ultimate whiskey insult. When the expert says mix it, you fucked up. Pappy ruined the entire industry's perception. Entire thread about this. Created allocation madness. Taught distilleries they can charge anything if they make it scarce. 15 years chasing mythology. I could have bought 50 bottles of Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Actually good bourbon. Available on shelves. The Emperor has no clothes. Pappy isn't worth it. Never was. 7. Old Elk Small Batch Bourbon. You know that feeling when you walk into a fancy liquor store and the employee with a bow tie tells you about small batch craft bourbon from Colorado? Yeah, I felt that. $65 later, I'm sitting at home with nearly flavorless bourbon wondering if my taste buds died. Wasn't terrible, but didn't impress me either. That's the review from someone being polite. But craft doesn't mean good. Craft means they made less of something that probably deserved to stay small. Quite a bit of buzz surrounding this bourbon. Yeah, manufactured buzz from their marketing department. I'm hesitant after my experience. Hesitant is diplomatic. I'm pissed. $65 for water with brown food coloring. New Riff costs the same and actually tastes like bourbon. But I had to learn the expensive way. 6. Bibb and Tucker Small Batch. Direct quote from Community. Worst bourbon I've had was Bibb and Tucker Small Batch. Wasn't cheap and just lacked flavor. Jim Beam brings more complexity. Read that again. Jim Beam. The bourbon snobs use as an insult. That Jim Beam is more complex than $70 Bibb and Tucker. I did a blind tasting with 8 bourbons. Bibb and Tucker came dead last, below Ancient Age, below Evan Williams, below the bourbon I bought at CVS. When you lose to drugstore bourbon in a blind tasting, you're not a premium product. You're expensive garbage in a fancy bottle. Lacked flavor is the kiss of death for whiskey. That's like saying, my steak lacked meat. What are we even doing here? 5. Weller 12. I used to camp outside liquor stores for Weller drops. Now I pour it into Diet Coke. Definitely a no-go from experts who've tried everything. All the less expensive Wellers actively suck. Actively. Like it's making an effort to be terrible. Disappointing at $18 and even worse at $60. I've seen people pay $300 secondary for this. $300 for bourbon that pairs well with Coke, much like PVW 23. That's not a recommendation. That's an execution. Know what ended my tater face? Buying a bottle for $200, trying it next to Maker's Mark, and realizing I'd been played. The Makers won. By a lot. If you're standing in line for Weller 12, I was you 3 years ago. Walk away. Your knees and dignity will thank you. Let me know below and hit subscribe to stay in the loop. 4. Old Fitzgerald bottled in bond. Old Fitz is nigh undrinkable. Nigh undrinkable. That's Victorian English for this tastes like regret and broken promises. Heaven Hill allocated series that people hunt like Pokemon cards.
Then they'd get it home and realize why it was allocated. Nobody would buy it otherwise. I waited 9 months for a bottle. 9 months! That's a human pregnancy. I could have made a whole person in the time I spent hunting this bourbon. First sip, harsh. Second sip, worse.
Third sip, questioning my life choices. It's sitting on my shelf now as a $120 reminder that allocation doesn't mean quality. Heaven Hell figured out they could make mediocre bourbon special by making less of it. Congratulations, they played us. 3. WhistlePig Boss Hog. Expert review. This feels like a scam. I'm not sure how they managed to ruin a 13-year rye, but they've certainly exceeded my low expectations while pricing it above secondary market rates. $500 for ruined rye. How do you age something for 13 years and make it worse? I've been drinking rye for 20 years. Rittenhouse, Old Overhaul, Wild Turkey 101 rye. Good honest rye between $25 and $40. Then WhistlePig shows up with a pig on the bottle and decides rye should cost car payments. Exceeded my low expectations is the most devastating compliment I've ever read. It means I knew it would be bad, but damn! You want good rye? Hard Truth limited releases for $80. New Riff Rye for $50. Both blow Boss Hog out of the water while costing 85% less. But sure, buy the pig bottle for Instagram. Your loss, their Ferrari. 2. Angel's Envy Bourbon. 27 people upvoted this. Cool bottle, but blah. Weakest tasting whiskey I've ever had. Flavor profile equals lightly tanned water. I keep it behind the bar because it sells. Not because it's good, because the bottle looks expensive and tourists don't know better. Profit margin is insane because nobody who actually drinks bourbon orders it. 21 more upvotes. Angel's Envy. So overrated. Bourbon is mediocre at best. That's 48 people publicly admitting they wasted money. How many more stayed silent? Weakest tasting whiskey at $55. I've had tap water with more character. The port finish is supposed to add complexity, but it's like putting a bow tie on a mannequin. Still lifeless. Cool bottle, though. Makes a decent flower vase once you dump the contents. 1. Eagle Rare 17. From someone who's reviewed 1,000 bourbons. ER 17, simply terrible. Nothing more to add. Simply terrible. When an expert won't even elaborate because it's so bad it doesn't deserve analysis, that's nuclear. Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Allocated to hell. People pay $800, $1,500 secondary for simply terrible. You know what's worse than overpaying for mediocre bourbon? Overpaying for bourbon so bad the experts give up explaining why. It's beneath discussion. It's whiskey non grata. I've had Eagle Rare 10. It's fine at $30. Apparently, aging it 7 more years and charging 10 times more makes it worse. That's impressive incompetence. Hidden Gem 3. Redwood Empire Cask Strength. See if you can find Redwood Empire, specifically the cask strength bottles. Not sure how common they are, but solid bottles. California Bourbon. I know what you're thinking. Kentucky gatekeeping. I thought the same thing. Then I tried it. Cask strength between 115 to 120 proof. No chill filtering. No bullshit. Actually tastes like bourbon should taste. $60 to $80 depending on release. Limited distribution means it's not hyped yet. Not allocated. Just hard to find. When you see it, grab it. While everyone's camping for Weller, I'm drinking Redwood Empire and wondering why geography matters more than quality. Hidden Gem 2, New Riff, Bourbon and Rye. New Riff products show up in every underrated bourbon thread. Every single one. That's not coincidence. Bottled in bond.
100 proof, 4 years minimum, no chill filtering, no additives, complete transparency, $45 to $60.
While Buffalo Trace plays allocation games, New Riff sits on shelves. Available, consistent, actually good. Novel concept, right? Single barrel picks go up to 110 proof. I've had 15 different barrels. 0 duds. 0. When's the last time you could say that about any other distillery?
Kentucky craft that doesn't act like they're doing you a favor by selling you bourbon. What a refreshing change. Like, sub, and drop a comment if you're vibing with the content. Hidden Gem 1, Hard Truth Rye, limited releases. Most underrated distillery to keep an eye on for ryes is Hard Truth, I.O. Their limited releases have been exceptionally impressive is strong language from whiskey nerds who normally hedge everything. $60 to $90 for limited releases, cask strength, single barrel. While WhistlePig charges $500 for ruined rye, Hard Truth delivers quality at 85% less. Most underrated distillery.
That means window of opportunity. Before hype train arrives. Before allocation culture ruins it. I've tried 4 Hard Truth releases. All winners. Barrel proof, bold. Actually tastes like rye. Not whatever Boss Hog is supposed to be. Buy it now. Tell no one. Before r/bourbon finds out and ruins it.